Hi darlings, best ever people and dragons. Welcome to my channel, Me and Places. I'm Paulina and today I will tell you stories behind some of the things that I have at my place. So this idea was actually not mine. My friend whose name is Deb, hi Deb, and hugs, kisses, and thank you for this idea, asked me to do this some time ago when I was showing him my place through a video. And he said, hey, you have some interesting details around. It would be awesome if you would make a video telling stories behind them. So I thought it was a great idea. I memorized it and hey, I'm finally doing it. I have a bunch of stuff here in front of me and I'm super excited to start. The first thing I want to show you is this cute dragon. Arr. I don't think dragons say arr. But then they don't exist, so actually they can say anything. Anyway, this awesome, cute, small thing right here is something that a couch surfer whom I hosted many years ago did for me. That person had the most interesting travel story out of all couch surfers I hosted so far. But it's not my story to tell, so I won't do it now. But yeah, he is very good in origami, and so he did this origami dragon for me. It's so awesome. I have no idea how somebody can do this. It looks pretty challenging. It has wings, it has tail, it has paws or whatever dragons have, legs, and it has huge mouth spitting fire. I love it. Thank you so much. I still have it. It's an important part of my interior and I'm still amazed by this small thing. Another thing is decorating my board, like a decorative board I have on my wall. It's actually a bunch of things. It's this kind of postcard, which is from Amsterdam. I think it's when I was going to I museum or something like that, a film museum, which was closed when I came there, but the journey there I think was by this kind of boat. And then I found this postcard and you can see the museum here as well. And I really loved it because it's so different from all other touristic postcards they had about Amsterdam. So I felt like I just have to buy it. And it says something here, but not in English, so I can't really say what. Anyway, I like the atmosphere. I like that it's, you know, very moody. And I also have this kind of magnet in the same kind of style. This one is from Krakow, and this is from Gallery Lulu in the Kazimierz, in the Jewish district. And it has same mood. It has some mood, which I love. I also have this kind of magnet from Budapest, and it is also misty. I love mist, I love fog. I think it's very beautiful. And yeah, all of them has fog. All of them are mostly black and white, like with some hints of color, but not fully colored. And all of them are very atmospheric and they have this gothic beauty to them. So I really like this maybe not very common style magnets and postcards. So if you have something like that in your city, tell me, and if I am ever there, I will sure take this thing with me, because I really like to collect this kind of moody, foggy things from places I visited. Another thing decorating same board is this postcard. This postcard says, normal people worry me, which is very much truth. So I worked with special kids for a while and now I'm studying social work with specialization in mental health. And I want to say that I have this philosophy that no one is normal. Everybody has something. And normal as a word, I think, can be very dangerous, especially when you use it not in scientific term, which usually means just the majority. The biggest amount of something is like scientifically normal. But in social kind of way, when we use this word, we usually put like a positive vibe to it. Like if it's normal, it's good, and if it's not normal, it's bad. And this thing I really don't like. I really dislike how people use this word, judging what is good and what is not. Nobody is really normal. Everybody has something. Everybody are unique. So I think using this word like this comes with stigma and comes with discrimination, and that's why I want to express how much I don't like it. And that's why I'm staring at this postcard every time I wake up, and I'm like, yes, that's exactly how I feel. Next thing is something soft and colorful. It's a bag. It's a bag which I got from Jyväskylä. It's a city in Finland which is known for maybe student life, because many people go there to study, but not that much for anything else. And I was visiting this place with a museum card. Museum card is a card you buy one time in a year. It works for a whole year, gives you free entrance to the most of the museums in whole Finland. And I had it for many years. Now I temporarily don't have it because I'm on a student budget, and I'm so waiting to get back to full-time job and to have it again, because I'm such a museum goer. I love museums. And so we made this museum trip with my friend where we were visiting museums. And we went all the way to Jyväskylä, which is quite far, but just to visit some museums. And I totally loved the text on this. So this bag says, Jyväskylä Art Museum, unknown in Finland and abroad. And I just love the irony behind it. So right now it's part of my decor because I just have it on my wall, because I'm trying not to buy any plastic bags. And so far I'm succeeding pretty well while I'm home. On travel it's a bit different. So I have bags like this just hanging on my wall so that it's easy to grab when you're going anywhere. It's always good to have one of these with you. Another thing is this beautiful picture. It's actually a photograph which is printed on a matte paper. It's a photograph that is made by my friend, who is very, very passionate about photography, and I think he's very good in it and totally brilliant. I think he's on a break with photography at the moment, but I hope from the bottom of my heart that he will find his way to the photography again, because just when he talks about it, you can feel how passionate he is about this. So I'm sure he can do great things in photography. And actually he's from Zagreb, and he made this photograph on a light festival in Zagreb, and he won some kind of competition with this, if I remember correctly. And he gave this to me, and I have it on my wall because it fits perfectly, first and foremost because it's beautiful, and also because it fits my colors and other things on that wall. This is done by Carlo, and Carlo, thank you for this. Another thing I have here are posters. This one and this one. So these are photographs that I took in the mountains, and later when I came home from my trip, I printed them on this beautiful matte paper. They have been decorating different walls in different rooms in my apartment for many years already. They are very special for me because they are from my very first mountain trip. Very first time I went to mountains and I did my first hike, and I was swept away by the beauty, by the feeling. I was so captivated. I remember I was, going up, like climbing up, and it's a very narrow place. So people like under me, they could not really go over me. They had to wait for me to go first so that they can also go up. And I just couldn't do it fast because it was my first time. I was like looking back every, fifth step probably. I would go 5 steps up and then I turn my head and I'm like, oh my freaking gosh. And I would see this. And there is actually a waterfall here. It's right there. It's so beautiful. And I would not understand how these people, because people were very focused. They were like focused going up the mountain, have the lunch, go down. And I was just like, wow. I took so many breaks just to have this wow moment for myself. And I think it was very irritating for people because I made their trip slower, but I was completely mesmerized, completely. I could not understand why other people are not doing that, you know.
So I didn't have a YouTube channel back then, but I still have few small footages and of course photos from that very first hike that I did. Those 2 photos that I printed later are included here. And they are both taken on the route from Five Lakes Valley in Tatra Mountains on the Polish side to the Morskie Oko. So that part of the route is where I took both of the photos.
And this was a trip where I understood that mountains is my thing, and I just kept feeling throughout the whole hike how come they were here all the time, these trails were here all the time, and I didn't know that. I didn't know it's my thing. I didn't know that it makes me feel this way, and I want to feel this again and again. And actually I was coming back and still am coming back to the same mountains every year after this first trip, besides the pandemic year. So these photos are not just from my first trip to mountains, they are actually my first ever trail in the mountains. So I still remember this feeling when I look at them that I had first time there. Okay, next thing is this puzzle. So there is this place called Clementoni, Frame Me Up. You can go there, it's an internet address where you can download your own picture, your own photograph, and make a puzzle out of it. And I like puzzles. I have like these big ones for, 2,000 pieces. That takes a very long time to make. And I thought it would be a great idea to make a puzzle from some kind of photograph. I wanted something connected to music because it fits that wall. I also wanted a photo of LP player, which I don't have. But my friend in Slovenia, Meris, hi Meris, if there is any chance you're watching it, thank you so much for this. So I contacted him and asked him to take a picture of his LP player, which he did. And you can actually see his legs here. You can see these slippers. These are not slippers. I don't know how you call this that you put on your legs at home. I think these have like dogs on them, like a fluffy dogs. So this is my friend, Meris, right here. This is his LP player, which is part of my decor for a few years now, and I love it so much. Next thing I want to tell you about is this can where I keep my brushes. It is decorated with a photo, and this is a very special photo. It's a ocean shore of Porto city in Portugal. I think I found this decoration idea somewhere on Pinterest. I totally did not invent this. This is just a can from some jam I ate, and then I printed the photo, and now it's decorating my brush can. It's a photo from my very first solo trip. The first place where I went solo traveling is Portugal, and it was exactly this city of Porto.
And here are some pictures from that very first solo trip that I did. I also did a couple of videos about solo trips, so in case you're interested, check them out.
And the first moments, I didn't like it at all. I thought this is not my thing, I'm not doing this again. I feel like I don't have anybody to share my emotions with, and I really miss that. I don't know how to deal with this. And by the end of the very first day, I was walking this shore, ocean shore, and I was just so feeling it. and I was already very sure that this is my thing. I'm gonna travel solo again and again and again, and I did. It has been many years ago, and solo traveling is my very favorite way of traveling. Now, I'm not always alone while I travel. I visit my friends, I do couch surfing. Sometimes my family, my mom joins me. I have this tradition with her to visit some place where we haven't been together yet on her birthday every year. So it's not like I'm always alone, but I like people to join me for some specific amount of time and then to continue on my own. This is like my favorite way of traveling. Yeah, if you also like solo traveling, share your experience with me. I'm very interested. I think it's the best way to travel for me personally, and this can just reminds me of this first trip I had that was an eye-opening trip for me, that opened so many opportunities and was a start for my solo traveling experiences. The last but not least is my travel companion, my travel cup Sampo. You have probably seen it on my Instagram if you are following my Instagram. Always when I go to a new place where this cup hasn't been before, I take a photo of it. So I will tell you this story and why and how it happened from the very beginning. Actually, my first travel mug was not Sampo, it was Toamna. This mug here, its name is Toamna. So how did I get it? I was traveling and I met an awesome person, and he was showing me the city of Zagreb, and there was this tea shop, I think, that had you know, this glass thing that you decorate to attract people's attention so that they come in and buy something. And I think it was decorated pretty nicely, and I really loved this mug. It was right there standing as part of the decor, and I thought it's just a very beautiful mug. And it resembles autumn, and it's my favorite ever time of the year, especially here in Finland, the autumn with all the bright leaves. And yeah, I think I had this kind of vibes from it, and I really loved it. So I just took a moment to take a photo of this, which, as I learned later, my friend noticed. So next day I'm going to trip to see something else. I think I went to Plitvice Lakes, and my friend sends me a message like, hey, do you like autumn or spring more? And I was immediately autumn, no doubt autumn. Why? And he was like, no, why? But when I come back home, he gave me this mug as a present. So he noticed I was taking photos of it, and he wanted to give it as a memory, because we had a very special connection the moment we met, and we're still very good friends. Yeah, it was a special thing, but I had a huge hiking backpack, and it was fully packed, absolutely fully packed. And I was in the middle of my trip, which was a 1-month trip. So I still had 2 weeks to go. And those weeks were going to be camping weeks, somewhere in the mountains in a tent. So it was not an easy trip to keep this kind of cup safe. This fragile, huge, absolutely gigantic cup. So I was sure I will break it very soon, and I was sure it will not survive my trip. And I really tried to keep it safe, but it wasn't easy. It didn't even fit in my backpack, so I had to take some things out, put more clothes on myself, and also stuff the mug with clothes. I was visiting many cities, hiking spots and places after getting this mug. And every time I was in a new place, I would take a photo of it in that place and send it to my friend and say like, hey, it's still alive, it's still here, I'm still taking care of it.
And here you can see some photos from that very trip. I just got Toamna and was really trying not to break it on my many adventures.
I was very proud of myself and this mug to, you know, keep it safe so far, and it made through the whole trip. And by the end of the trip, it just became a habit. The thing is that I really dislike to take my own selfies. I don't take much selfies when I travel. I don't even take my own photos in every place I go. I really don't. but I like to take photos of the places. And the thing is, when you do it like this, there is no really proof you have been there. It could be just a scenic photo from Google. So I thought that when I have this mug, it's really a proof that I have actually been there, you know. So I really liked this habit. So after this trip, I continued to take this mug with me and take photos of it. And as soon as I came back and realized I will do this more, I asked my friend that we need to name this mug because it became my travel companion. And I had two options. One was Bob. I wanted to name it Bob. To me, I have associations with something very simple and something very maybe home-like and something completely different to how this mug looks. And I thought it will be funny, the contrast will be funny if I'll make this fancy mug Bob. But my friend disagreed and he said it should be named something that fits it better. So what I did is that I googled autumn, the word autumn, in different languages, and then I picked the word that sounded most as a name to me. And it was Toamna. I think it's Romanian, and I'm not sure this is how you pronounce it, but when you pronounce it Toamna, it kind of sounded like a beautiful, maybe female name. So yeah, we named it Toamna, and Toamna Travel Mug has been to many places.
Toamna traveled for 5 years with me and has been roughly to 50 different places.
In the very beginning, Toamna was a romantic gesture from my friend, and we actually had a romantic relationship for a while. But when the whole thing ended, I thought it was time for Toamna to retire, and I just want to keep it safe as a very beautiful memory, so I drink from it home. Especially in the evenings when it's raining a lot, I like to have this big mug of cocoa. But as I told you, I already had a habit and I'm already got used to have this companion that I can drink from, that makes me feel cozy wherever I go. And just when I had in mind to retire to Toamna, I went to a shop in Turku, here in Finland, and I randomly found this cup. I think it was Normal, shop called Normal. Terrible name, remember? But I love the picture, look at it. It so fits the traveling. Also the color, it's such a travel color, and it's a bit narcissistic cup because it has this saying here, the world is yours. But I still liked it. The moment I saw it, I was like, this is it, this is my next travel cup. So after my dearest Toamna retired, it gave the way to the younger cup, which is Sampo. Sampo is a Finnish name which comes from Finnish mythology Kalevala. You can Google it if you're interested. And in Kalevala it means a treasure that many people are fighting for. But it doesn't always bring you happiness. It's maybe a bit of a Lord of the Rings kind of vibes. In fact, when Tolkien wrote Lord of the Rings, he was inspired a lot by Kalevala. And there are many things from Kalevala that he kind of got in his books as well. So yeah, this is Sampo, this is my travel treasure, and I keep it with me. And so far it survived all the trips it took.
Sampo Travel Mug caught up with Toamna and just in 1 year has already been to 52 places. Also, it seems like Sampo is somehow attracted to castles because I end up going to much more castles when I travel with Sampo.
So darlings, thank you so much for watching. I had so much fun doing this, and thank you to all of my friends who I mentioned in this video because they are all so dear to me. Thanks to all the places I visited that are connected to the things I showed you. Thank you for following me, my adventures, and watching my videos. And if you have any travel related ideas to my videos, just leave them in the comments. I will be so glad to check them out. So bye, and see you somewhere next time.